Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Foodie Filmmaker, back at you with another episode. All right, guys. So as you can see right now, or maybe you can't, I don't know, but I am using my iPhone actually to record this episode again, and have been using my iPhone actually for the past couple of episodes. Maybe the last two episodes were recorded on my iPhone, and that's because those episodes happened kind of spontaneously. Like I actually didn't plan to film those. Like I was just in the area, and I was like, you know what, let's just make it happen since I was close to the studio here, and so that's how those episodes came about. Plus, I had some input from some of you foodies in the community. And you guys suggested certain topics, so I was like, I might as well just kind of make it happen on the spot because I was inspired. I had the thoughts already ready, and so I was like, let's just record it and stuff like that. And this one is kind of happening the same way, but also I actually want to test it out to see if transitioning to an iPhone will be a good idea moving forward because I have heard from some of you guys that the quality from the iPhone does look better than the one from my camera. And to be fair, my camera is a little bit old actually, so it's an older model of a Canon. So the iPhone is actually a lot more newer than the camera is. So I mean, I would still think that the DSLR camera would still look better than the iPhone, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's your experience. You guys are the ones enjoying the podcast. So if you guys believe that a transition to the iPhone and that the iPhone looks better, then I'm gonna do what you guys feel is best, and I will transition to the iPhone. I have no problem. It's actually much easier for me since I already carry my iPhone with me, so I can just kind of just use the phone for as a camera when I'm recording these podcasts, and also I can make them like on the spot too. Like I don't have to bring the entire equipment here. Most of the equipment is already here in the studio, so that's I'm very grateful for that, and so I can just bring in my iPhone and just make stuff happen, and then obviously later in post I can edit it and make it look a lot better too. So that's always good. But yeah, so I actually haven't made an episode in a while. Actually, it's been maybe like 2 weeks since I made the last episode. I actually haven't even uploaded the last episode. So when you see the last episode, you might see the previous one being uploaded and then this one being uploaded like right after. But believe me, there was a good time frame between the two. You can probably tell like from my hair, I actually haven't even gotten a haircut. It's just that I'm about to explain right now what's going on, but yeah, it's been quite a while. I've actually been a little busy, and I was really locked into what I was doing. So I was really focusing on my page at the Foodie Filmmaker and focusing on my social media agency, which is Reactive Media. So there was a lot of content being made for those two platforms. So I was just really locked in and making stuff happen over there. And so I didn't have enough time to come into the studio. Plus, I didn't have time to really plan out what I wanted to talk about in the podcast. So I just kind of took a little bit of a break, I guess you can say. It was kind of like a 2 week break where I just didn't record at all. And believe me, once you take a break like that, it's a little bit hard to come back to it. Just like with anything, when you start off, you're like pumped, you're ready. And not to say that I got bored of doing the podcast. Like I've always said in every single episode, I love doing these, except that if I don't have an actual topic to talk about, I can't just really jump in here. Well, I kind of could actually, but it's not really my thing. Like I said, and I've said this before, I always want to bring value to every single episode. And so if I don't have a specific topic or something that important that I really want to share with you guys, then I feel like it's unfair for me to just come up here and just yap about random stuff and not really deliver any value at the end of the day. So I always want you guys to walk away with something every time you guys watch my episode, even if it's one thing. Obviously you don't gotta take everything from the episode because some of the stuff you can't really you're just kind of just listening to me share my stuff, but there are points here and there that you can apply into your own journey and stuff like that, or even your personal life. But yeah, that's always my goal with these episodes, and so that's why I kind of hadn't jumped in here, even though I had been in the area. I just hadn't jumped into the studio and made something happen here. So I'm very happy to be able to be back here, back with you guys, and be able to once again share some nuggets with you. I actually don't really have a topic today. I just kind of jumped in and I just kind of want to share a little bit about what's been happening as far as like with the whole foodie community and things that I've seen, things that I've experienced and stuff like that. And hopefully you guys can take some stuff from this episode. So just kind of updating you guys. So it's gonna be a short and sweet one. I promise you, it's gonna be short and sweet. I actually don't have a lot of time left in the studio. Actually, I was doing some other work here while I was in here, and so like I was doing some voiceovers for some of my videos at the Foodie Filmmaker. So if you see some of those videos, you see that I've been implementing some voiceovers. So some of them were recorded in here just because I like the sound of this room. So I kind of just booked it just to make that happen. But I know I've been getting a lot of requests that some of you guys want to be a guest in here, and I still have yet to get to that because, like I said, I've been like so busy. But I do want to have a guest come in here and make stuff happen. So if that's you, be sure to send me an email. I think that's really the best way to make it happen. If you tell me like through DM, or if you see me in person and you tell me that you're interested in making an episode, I might just forget just because I don't tend to write things that often. I mean, I won't forget, but I just will it'll just kind of be in the back of my mind, and nothing will actually get scheduled unless, of course, you email me and you give me like good dates that work for you, and you give me like a brief summary of actually what you want to share here in a podcast, and we can really go from there. And it's a much more professional platform as well. So if you email me, I'll kind of consider you a little bit more, because I'll feel that you're a little bit more serious about actually being in a podcast, as opposed to just telling me that you want to be in it, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of like you just want to be in of it because it's cool, like, oh, like I just want to be in Lewis's podcast and stuff like that, which I appreciate, at the end of the day, but if you don't want to be in it, that's cool, I understand that this is not for everybody. The hell, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's exactly for me either. Like I said, I'm an introvert, so talking is not really in my nature. But once again, I want to express myself and tell you guys that this is primarily for you guys. I primarily want to share things that are going to be valuable for you guys. So this is why I do it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with today's podcast. One of the things I want to share and that I've seen in the foodie community, without throwing out any usernames or any names for that matter, is first of all, I'm sorry to see that there's a lot more creators out there now that are starting to share kind of their experiences, and sharing a little bit about what they've done, and tips and tricks and stuff like that. And that's cool. I think that's an amazing thing to do. I mean, like I said, I personally wouldn't do it like on my personal profile at the Foodie Filmmaker, just because I want that profile to just be uh all about the content, all about content for restaurants and stuff like that. That's what I wanted to be mainly about. That's why I made a separate page where I'll be posting little clips about the podcast. I was posting clips here and there of the podcast on my Foodie Filmmaker IG page, but and it was cool. I got a good reception from it, but I decided that I wanted to keep things a little bit separate, just because I want the people who want to take this more seriously and want to really grasp a lot of knowledge when it comes to content creation in the foodie community and stuff like that. They will have a place to go where the content is tailored, and it's really all about that in that zone. So at the Foodie Filmmaker Podcast, that Instagram, that one's primarily, I still haven't put anything up there, but that one's the one that's primarily going to be all about just informational content that's going to help you, content that I'm going to share with you guys, so you guys can be knowledgeable about what's going on in the community, and also tips and tricks as far as like your content creation journey goes, how you can actually create content that's good, that people enjoy and that they like. And also, if you're trying to do this as a business, how to create content that attracts businesses, and that businesses will be satisfied and will be more than happy to pay you for that, instead of you trying to kind of forcefully try to tell restaurants like, please pay me, please give me money for my content. I can really teach you guys how to create content that really talks for itself, content that looks good and presentable, professional, and content that's worth paying for. Because at the end of the day, you want to be creating content that's good. You don't want to just be creating content and being expected to be paid and be expected to be paid for it just because you're creating content. I think that's the wrong route to go, because at the end of the day, when you do it that way, you're mostly just focusing on the monetary side of things. You're not really focused on the creative side of things, where, you're really pushing yourself, pushing the boundaries of content creation, and really putting your imagination to use, putting your creativity to full effect, where you can express your personality and at the same time help out a restaurant sell their products. Yeah, so as I was saying, I've seen a lot of creators out there who have been putting out a lot of content as far as like helping other creators in their journey and stuff like that. I've seen like little small clips. I've seen creators where they show themselves, and so they talk into the camera and they're sharing a tip and stuff like that. Some of them are showing like tutorials as far as like how to create a specific type of video. Some of them are sharing kind of just generic type of advice, so as far as like how to approach your marketing, or how to approach a post, or when to post, or stuff like that. And I think that that's all cool. Like I said, here's my thing though, and I understand why they would post it there, right? I mean, like I personally, I think I would get a lot more traction if I decided to take all the content that I'm posting here on the podcast and throw it up there, because I understand that the more people are over there, a lot of my audience will most likely take in the advice that I put out on Instagram than I do here, because this is more of a long form content type of deal. Whereas Instagram, I can post a 1 minute type of clip, and yes, that minute could have some value for sure, but it won't tell the whole story. And that's why I decided to I share this type of content through a podcast, where I can kind of share this and I can extend it to the length that it's supposed to be extended to. And that way you guys can actually grasp the entirety of the concept. And also, the fact that you're over here listening to a podcast, it kind of shows me, and it shows yourself as well, that you're more serious about actually improving yourself and actually taking action on what you hear. Because listening to a podcast, yes, in actuality, it might not be the most entertaining thing, unless, of course, you like the speaker, you're a fan of mine, you're a fan of my work and stuff. Then I assume that most of you guys are watching this podcast. So then you will take a lot of more of the stuff that I say a little bit more seriously. But if I were to put it on Instagram, there'll be a lot of people who don't know me, but maybe they see that 1 minute clip. It's a small investment, and they'll probably take some value, but at the same time, they'll probably just forget about it the next hour or so. And so that's why when it comes to the podcast, I feel like it's a more serious tone and stuff like that, which is why I would do it here. So regardless of the platform though, here's my thing about some of the creators that I've been seeing sharing this type of content. So first of all, I feel like most of those creators doing that, I feel like they're doing it just to kind of do it. Like, I don't know where they heard that it's a good idea to just start sharing tips and tricks and stuff like that. Maybe they saw another creator kind of do that, and now they want to replicate that kind of style of content, that format where they go up and they start sharing a tip and stuff. They show you how to go from no video to having a video. They show you how to negotiate deals when it comes to your collaborations, stuff like that. And I don't know where they thought it was a good idea, but here's the thing, like, I feel like your results and the type of content that you're making should speak for itself before you start making videos like those. So here's what I mean. Like, I myself, like I said, I've had experience as far as like talking and sharing knowledge and education and this kind of type of content. I've had experience with it even before I started this whole foodie journey. So could I have started this podcast as soon as I started my foodie journey? Of course I could have. I could have just started documenting everything. I could have been making blogs and just talking about just what I was learning and stuff that I heard in the community and just share with you guys, start making tutorials and stuff like that as far as like how to make videos and editing and stuff like that. However, it just wouldn't have felt right. The reason why is because I was just starting off at that point. And so I didn't have the necessary experience to come up here and be an authority for you guys and start sharing things and start telling you guys to do this step by step, you know? Like it just wouldn't be congruent because at the end of the day, I myself haven't been implementing most of the stuff that I would be sharing with you guys if I would have started this podcast right as soon as I started my journey as a foodie. However, right now it makes a lot more sense now that I've been in the industry for about 2.5 years now. I can share with you guys what I've learned throughout those years. Not only that, but I've also purposefully tested a lot of things. I've been in the field a lot of times. I've done so much filming too. Like you guys have no idea how much filming I've done. I've done so much filming. I've been in so many kitchens. Oh my goodness, I've been in so many kitchens and just remembering all that, it's a little brutal because not it wasn't always nice, and it still isn't to this day. Like sometimes I go into kitchens, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm burned out. Sometimes I'm just like, oh man, here we go again, and so, but everything's already scheduled in, and like I said, some of the collaborations I do them because I want to help out that place, and at the same time I want to kind of bring that experience of that place to you guys. So I want to create content that looks good, so at the end of the day you guys enjoy the content, you guys see what this place sells, and then you guys can go and perhaps you get incentivized to go and try it, and that's the beauty of it. But believe me, there's if I were to just do this for myself, and that's a lot. That's another thing too, which I've kind of seen in some of you foodies that I've encountered lately, where it's most foodies, most of you guys just do it for the experience, and it's like it's okay, like I said, but like I've kind of started to see that maybe if I might not necessarily connect with those foodies just as much because, like I said, I'm more of a hustler. I'm more, I scheduled maybe like 4 or 5 collaborations in one day, and not only that, but I expect each of them to be uh premium collaborations. So I put in full effort, even if I'm tired, I'll still run that down and I'll make sure that everything is covered and that I'm still getting good shots, I'm still getting good content. No matter how I'm feeling, I'm still gonna go in there and like give it my all, because at the end of the day, every single restaurant is different, and every single restaurant expects me to give them 100%. None of these restaurants know that I have a 3, 4, 5 collaborations coming after theirs, or that I've done 5 collaborations before theirs. And nor should they know, nor should they care. At the end of the day, you as an influencer, you as a foodie, you're there to do a job, which is to capture content for the restaurant, and at the end you publish it. However, I guess what I've started to notice that some foodies they just kind of go and they just kind of just vibing with the place and enjoying the place and stuff like that. And I mean, to some extent, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. However, if the place is giving you a lot of food, you gotta consider that there's a huge expense when it comes to, them allowing you to collaborate with you, and then providing the food for you for free. At the end of the day, like I personally would not go into a restaurant that's giving me so much food and start vibing and enjoying the area, enjoying the place, enjoying the food, and then just forget about the content, because at the end of the day, like I'm always considerate about what they're doing for me, so I want to do something even better in return, which in this case, if it's like a gifted collaboration, then the best I can do is provide them with a good piece of content. So that is my main goal before anything. If I want to go and enjoy a place and vibe and stuff like that, I would just go and pay. Like I would just go and pay. I pay money, and then I could enjoy as much as I want, because I'm not necessarily obligated now to create any content because look, they give me food, I give them their money, I give them what they ask me in exchange for the food. So I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them content. So in that case, I feel a little bit more liberated to just vibe and enjoy the space, enjoy the area. However, like if we're doing some sort of a collaboration, then I myself go into a different mode, a different setting. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I've kind of seen recently. But going back to the thing that I was saying about some creators that I've seen that are sharing tips and tricks. I would definitely like for me to the people who are doing that, I would just say that you guys got to sharpen up your skills and really not only sharpen them up as far as like how you deliver your content, as far as like how you share it with your audience, and how do you share the knowledge, but also sharpen up your skills as far as like being an actual example of what you're sharing. So if you're teaching people how to make good content, how to get good shots, how to do a specific type of video, make sure that you yourself know how to create that kind of video, and make sure you yourself are a good, decent, experienced creator to the degree that you can walk in front of a camera and be an authority. Because I feel like at this point, anybody's just jumping in front of the camera and just trying to be an authority in this space. And to be honest, some of you are just not that authority. Some of you guys just don't have that. You guys are not experienced enough to be able to go in front of the camera and start sharing stuff like that and start sharing knowledge. Because first of all, you can definitely tell when an experienced person goes up in front of the camera and starts sharing knowledge, and when somebody who's not experienced goes up there and starts sharing content. Because you can tell that there's a lot of it's just the congruency. You can tell when somebody has actually been through it, somebody that understands the full story, the full concept, as opposed to somebody who just read something in a book or heard something or maybe saw another person give another tutorial and now they just want to give it themselves in their own words and stuff like that. You can tell when that's being the case, and that just doesn't help the person watching it, because now they just kind of feel they can feel the annoyance and also like the congruency. So you can tell like when they're sharing that kind of content, it's just not hitting. So then there's not the energy is not there. Um, the details are not there, the foundation, you can tell the congruency. And plus, if you don't have the actual living example, like I said, you don't have the actual content to back it up, then people are just not going to be enticed to listen to you, because they're just going to be like, who is this person? They're just sharing a bunch of content and claiming to be an authority here, but then I look at their videos and stuff and they're whack, they're not good, they're not up to par. So what I would say is, first of all, get that up to par. So be an actual living example of what you want to teach. And once you are that, then you can go ahead and jump in front of a camera and start teaching stuff, because now you have some value to actually offer, as opposed to just faking it till you make it, where you're just faking and pretending to have value to share when in fact you don't have any. And I understand, some of you guys may have the passion and the desire to want to teach and help others how to do stuff. And if that's the case, then be very honest. Be honest with what you actually know how to do good, and show examples of you actually doing those things. And if you're actually good at those, then go ahead and share that. But if you're really passionate about it, believe me, the best way you can be a teacher to somebody else is to first take care of yourself, educate yourself first, be a good role model, be a good example, be the actual professional and the experienced person, and then that's how you can actually share value with others. That's how you're actually going to make a change, because others can tell. Okay, you can't fool people. You might be able to fool them with your words and the way you phrase things, but subconsciously, the person watching you, they'll know if you're actually saying the truth or you're just coming up with stuff on the fly. So do that. That's my recommendation to the people here. making this kind of content. And for the people watching it, I mean, just be very aware of who you're listening to, who you're taking advice from. Make sure there's an actual track record, and make sure that you actually like the stuff that they're actually teaching you about. So if they're giving you tutorials as far as like how to make a specific type of content, like maybe they're showing you how to do voiceovers, they're teaching you how to script your videos and stuff like that. Like you see, I don't do that, and that's because I'm not exactly experienced in that department. I'm not gonna come here and show you how to make scripts as far as like for your videos and how to script them and what kind of words to use and stuff like that, because that's not my thing. Like if you look at my videos, sure, I've made a couple, but I'm not an expert. There's other content creators who make all their videos with voiceovers, and their voiceovers are actually really good. They have a good voice, they have a good projection when they're doing their voiceover, and they have the words that they use to describe every single dish and stuff is very good. It's on point. So everything comes out, everything flows pretty good. The pacing of the script is good. And so do I understand it to some degree? Of course. But am I going to sit here and start teaching you guys how to do voiceovers for your videos? Of course not. Maybe after a year or two that I've been doing it, and I've experimented with lots of scripts, I've messed up scripts, I've done voiceovers that did really really well, and I've done voiceovers that did really poorly. And now that I have experience of both sides, then yes, I can jump in front of the camera and be like, okay, I'm going to show you how to do voiceover videos. I'm going to teach you exactly, what kind of where you should do your voiceovers, like the how you should customize your room, what kind of mic you should use, how to actually project your voice, so how to actually get your voice to a degree where it sounds decent. It sounds like it's flowing, it has energy. It's not like it's lacking. It's not like you're talking and there's no congruency, there's no authority in the way that you're speaking. So I can teach you so then we can get into that. We can get into the actual script. So how can we write a script that doesn't where you can get ideas to write a script, and maybe there's a specific templates that you can start off with, or maybe there's a specific process as far as like how you can write your script, and then how you can actually kind of fix it up so that it goes with the length of the video as well and stuff like that. And I can do all that, but that's after I actually have some experience doing what I'm claiming that I know how to do myself. And so yeah, so there's that. And then yeah, I mean, just at the end of the day, if you're the one who's looking to learn new things, learn how to upgrade your content creation skills and stuff like that, always look at the person and look at the type of content that they're creating. Do you want to create content like that? If you do, then that might be the right person to listen to. If you're looking at their content and it looks like it's uninspiring and you're just not into it, then there is absolutely no point for you to be listening to their tutorial videos. There is no point at all, because the fact is that whatever they're saying in those videos, it's not coming from experience. They're basically probably just rehashing something that they saw somewhere else, or just summarizing it for you, which I guess in theory could be helpful, but you're really better off just looking for somebody teaching who's teaching it from experience, and who actually has good content to back that up. So yeah, so there's those the kind of the things that I've been looking at. It just makes me wonder a little bit about what has gone into these creators to be doing stuff like that. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody who's been part of this podcast. Appreciate you guys for being patient with me. Damn, I need to get a haircut, man. My beard is like, I haven't even cut my hair either, man. My hair is like super long. I've just been like super busy, just locked in. Like I said, been really focused on just creating content, editing. That's another thing that I've been really getting into. So I've been really mastering really the editing side of things and the filming side of things. And so it's been really fun. I can't wait to get back to you guys with another episode where, we'll really dive into like some serious stuff. And I'll definitely have a lot of things to teach you guys. So we'll get into those episodes at some point, and of course we're gonna bring in the guests, which is gonna be fun as well. I know there's a couple people from the night markets that watch my podcast, and you guys may be wondering what's going on with that, because I've actually haven't gone to the night market. Some of you guys may know that I was working for Night Market El Gato. I think I've mentioned it here in the podcast before, and I just want to let you guys know that I'm no longer working with them, which is why you haven't seen content. You haven't seen me post content from them in a while. And for everybody out there who's a vendor from there, you guys haven't seen me at at the night market. That's because I'm no longer working there, so I haven't stopped by to make any videos or anything like that. But that has been the end of a phase. Like I said, clients come and go. That was the client that I had for quite a while, maybe like 2 years and stuff. But this is something that I'll share with you guys later in the future. But sometimes, you get a client for a specific reason, because it's a specific learning curve. So you get a client because you want to learn something while you're there, and it's always better if you get a client and you learn from having that client at the same time you're getting paid from that client to learn as you work with them. And so that's kind of one of the things that was happening there. I was really mastering, honing my skills as far as like marketing with night markets goes, and I felt like it was already pretty much, it had reached its peak. I had already learned everything that I could and extracted all the valuable gems that I could from working at said environment, and now it was time to move on. So it's time to move on to a different setting where I could learn a lot more things. And yes, sometimes it is hard because you do get accustomed to working with certain clients, especially if they treat you well and you have a good experience working with them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you gotta understand that also your journey matters, and you gotta really understand at the end of the day, like it's not always just about money. It's also about actualizing and growing yourself as a person. And so if you're in an environment, if you're working with a client that no longer pushes you and no longer gets you to learn new things, then it might be in your best interest to drop that client, even if it's hard, even if you had some really good experiences working with them. At the end of the day, you don't want to get stuck just because of the comfort of receiving a specific paycheck from them. You always want to be growing. You always want to be learning, progressing, moving forward. And if that client is not supporting that vision, then you're just gonna have to move on and go on to do new things. So that's kind of what's going on there. Other than that, my voice is already done, man, and I didn't even talk for that long. That's what happens when you stop doing these things for a little while. But yeah, so happy to have been back. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, and I always say, make sure you follow the Instagram of the podcast. I'll leave a link down below so you guys can follow that podcast Instagram, and of course follow me on my personal Instagram at the Foodie Filmmaker on Instagram and on TikTok, and of course subscribe to the Foodie Filmmaker here on YouTube so you guys get notified every single time a new episode drops. Other than that, thank you so much for being part of this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.